Hey, what's up? I don't know what else to say other than I am very grateful, so very grateful for the Lord's blessings. I prayed. I did not stop praying. I didn't stop praying for courage, but for bravery. We went into this flight and the Lord delivered. And for that, I am incredibly grateful. I am incredibly grateful. Today is Friday, the 21st of June. I just had my 5th flight. I'm now 5 hours or somewhere between 5 and 6 hours in. And I've just completed going through each and every maneuver that will be required of me on the check ride. In the last flight, I had an introduction into steep turns, and it spooked me, to say the least. It really spooked me, being at such a deep and in such a steep angle of bank, and then on top of that you're pulling up as well, so there's just a bunch of G-forces acting on you. Not a lot, but it's different than what you would expect going about from day-to-day life. So I had to adjust to that. I knew that for sure. However, I wasn't going to fly until at least 1 week later, and I was supposed to initially have this flight yesterday, but the weather was bad and that caused us to postpone the flight into today instead. But here we are. We had that second flight, or should I say we had that 5th flight, and things went well. We did steep turns, and we did power on stalls, and we also did basically the closest we would get to spin recoveries. And I'm not going to lie, I was really fighting myself. It was a real mental battle going into not just today but also yesterday. So when we had to postpone yesterday's flight due to weather, it was kind of a relief, but also kind of not a relief at the same time, because yes, I would have been free from doing it that day, but I knew for sure I'd have to come back and do it the next day, which would have been directly tomorrow. So I'd have to get up, get dressed, go through that mental battle of preparing myself and just praying for courage. Because if doing it once was already bad enough, I had to do it twice. But as I said, the Lord delivered. The Lord delivered. I was able to remain calm. I was able to remain cool. I was able to remain collected, and I was able to perform both the steep turns and the power on stalls to the standard. And for that, I'm very, once again, grateful for what the Lord has done for me. I can't emphasize it enough on how important it was for me to just keep on praying for courage and for bravery. And it worked out. It worked out. For my steep turns, I would say that I need to definitely work on my rudder control better. I need to get better on my rudder control. There were times where I had either too much or too little rudder, and I was somewhat slow to correct it, as well as for my maintaining altitude throughout the turn. I just need to remember what I need to do if I'm too high or if I'm too low during the turn, and how to correct it. And as well, I need to remember how early I need to start taking the bank out so I can be level and heading back to my initial reference point. After the steep turns, my instructor demonstrated different ways the airplane may behave when practicing power on stalls, so I won't be shocked the first time it happens. So we did basically not a spin. It's not a spin, but it's what would have led to a spin if it was that bad of a break. So I got to experience the plane turning almost over on itself, turning around and then pushing down. I also got to practice the recovery, which is essentially the same as spin recovery. So power to idle, and then you put the rudder opposite of whichever way the airplane is turning, and then you make sure you're gaining speed, you level the nose, and then you can go back into your climb. And that was a lot better than I was expecting, to be honest. I was really expecting a bunch of loops or something, or at least not the maneuvers themselves, but at least a sensation of them. I was really expecting something a lot worse, but I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. But even then, I know that it would have been conquered eventually. It would have been conquered eventually, because one thing I had to keep in mind was that I was so close to getting through with the maneuvers. The steep turns and the power on stalls, they were the last 2 things I had to do. And now that they're out of the way, I'm going to have one more flight to review everything, and then my next flight after that will be a progress flight, a progress check with the chief instructor at the flight school, to see if I'm ready to move on to circuits, which is going to be very fun. It's going to be very fun because that's what I practice the most on the simulator, the takeoffs and the landings. The power on stalls now, it wasn't as bad. Again, that's the kind of the theme of this video, the theme of this lesson actually. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting. The worst part of it is how long you have to remain pitched up, because you can't just yank it all the way up, or else it's going to get a really bad, a really aggressive stall, which may lead into those weird situations where it's almost becomes a spin, if not develops into a full spin. So it's a lot of just gentle, not gentle, it's just a lot of patience. You're 20 plus degrees, nose up, and you're just holding the yoke and waiting. And I got to learn a lot of things about the aircraft and how sometimes the stall horn probably won't even go off because the angle of attack is so high, it's not getting enough air on it to make the sound, or however it works. I have not confirmed how the stall horn actually works. But what I did notice as another indicator of how highly pitched we were was that there's normally these vents that blow in the cool air rushing in over the plane, so it's kind of like an air conditioner. But even that, I could feel how it became hotter in the cockpit as we're just there pitching one, waiting on the stalls to happen. So a lot of things were learned. And then the brake itself, it wasn't that bad either. It would be more violent, sure, but not more violent than a power off stall, sure, but it wasn't anything that would have made me so overall, I really handled it a lot better than I was expecting, and I have nobody else to thank but the Lord. The Lord has really been carrying me through this journey, and I'm so grateful for it. Now returning back, we were able to see this JetBlue A320 fly over. It was really nice. Fortunately, it wasn't too high. Fortunately, it wasn't too close for us to get in its wake. But it was nice to see the aircraft actually go in on the approach. Sometimes we hear from approach that they're in the area, when we might cross paths. But this was the first time where I was actually able to look for him, point him out, report that we had the traffic in sight, and then get to see him continue his approach while we were heading back to our airport. But yeah, the landing, it's getting better. It's getting better. And I know for sure there's some more practice, I will be able to succeed. And once again, that is really how you can get far in this pursuit, whether it just be for private, whether you're just going for your private pilot, or maybe you want to become an airline pilot. It's all about your practice. How badly do you want it, and how willing are you, how consistent will you be going home each day, reviewing, taking notes after each flight, going on a simulator if that's accessible to you, if not, doing some chair flying, just getting as much practice in as possible, going through your procedures, trying to remember everything down to a T. It's all about the practice you put in, and what you put in, you will get out, trust me. Because right now I'm 5 to 6 hours in, and I'm going to be doing my progress check really soon, and God willing, I'll pass that, be onto my circuits, and just keep putting in the work, because the work does not stop. It does not stop. Whether it's your first flight or it's your 1000th flight, it does not stop. As a pilot, you're always learning. I think I heard that from Aviation 101. As a pilot, you're always learning. You're always learning. So don't think that you're going to get to a point where you can relax. No. You have to be ahead of the plane at all times. You have to be ahead of the plane at all times. Also, we practiced rejected takeoffs for the first time to anticipate going into the circuit practice. Let's say, once again, it can be worked on, but it was nice to learn something new for those upcoming lessons. But other than that, it's been a great journey so far. I'm once again so grateful for the Lord and for the blessings I've had in my progress so far. I'm so grateful. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel to continue being a part of this journey as I try to become a pilot in Jamaica. My name has been Robert Watson. Remember to always be improving. I'll see you again very soon. God bless.
Yeah. I only tell you the truth. I ain't got nothing to lose. Yeah, I gave my life to God and I'm still ballin'. Ain't nobody that can tell me I ain't all in. Late at night I hear the devil steady calling me. That's when I pray to the Father. Daddy give me strength to fight these monsters.